Here's your latest edition of the Credit Repair Intelligence Report.
In this week's Credit Repair Intelligence Report, we're going to talk about how over 83% of credit bureau disputes really work. Numerous studies show that 1 out of 4 consumer credit reports contain errors that will result in the consumer being declined for credit. While this is a serious fact, what is more serious is what really happens when these consumers actually dispute these errors on their reports with the credit bureaus. Many consumer protection and consumer rights groups try to make consumers feel confident by explaining that any errors on their credit report have to be investigated by the credit bureaus, and any information which the bureaus are unable to verify within 30 days must be deleted from the consumer's report. All that is required to make this happen is the consumer must mail a letter or go online in order to initiate the investigation process. Sounds great because you've probably heard it before. When most Americans hear the word investigation in regards to an item on their credit report they're challenging, they usually picture some variation of the following 3-step process. Step 1. An employee at the credit bureau receives their dispute and personally reviews it. During this review, they gather information and documents in regards to the disputed account by contacting the original creditor or collection agency, etc., also known as the data furnisher. Step 2. The credit bureau employee then reviews copies of original documents like the credit application, billing statements, billing and payment statements, or notes in the account looking for any errors in reporting. If anything is in question, they will request proof from the data furnisher. Step 3. Once a complete and thorough investigation has been completed, the credit bureau employee will then update the consumer's account according to the results of the investigation. Now, let's talk about how it really works. In Credit Repair Intelligence Report number 2, you learned about optical character recognition and how this allowed the credit bureaus to deal with the over 20,000 dispute letters they receive each day. You also learned that disputes used to cost the credit bureaus about $4.50 each to process, but thanks to technology and overseas outsourcing, they've reduced that cost down to around 95 cents each. Here's how over 83% of credit bureau disputes really work. First, a dispute letter is created by either you, an attorney, or a credit repair company, and it's then mailed to the credit bureaus. Doesn't really matter who mails the letter because, second, when the letter is received by the credit bureau, it's electronically scanned with optical character recognition and matched against a database of boilerplate dispute letters, commonly used by credit repair companies or found in software programs and credit repair books. If your letter matches one of these letters in their database, your dispute will most likely be A, flagged as frivolous, B, marked as suspicious, or C, completely ignored. If you've used a credit repair company or dispute letters out of credit repair books, you might have first-hand experience with this. Third, no matter who writes your dispute letter or how threatening it may sound, if the scanned version of it does not match that of a boilerplate dispute letter used thousands of times, the scanned version will then be electronically sent overseas for processing in a country like India, Jamaica, Philippines, or Costa Rica. There, an outsourced employee who works for the credit bureaus, who doesn't even speak English as their native language, mind you, will look at your scanned dispute and turn it into nothing but a 2 or 3-digit code. Yes, you heard that correctly. They will take your dispute, even if it has 10 pages of detailed documentation supporting your claim, and convert it into nothing but a 2 or 3-digit code. And to make your blood boil even more, they do this with a highly automated system the credit bureaus created called eOscar, which, get this, stands for Electronic Online Solution for Complete and Accurate Reporting. The eOscar system takes your dispute and usually uses a pull-down pick list to convert the dispute into just one of 26 different dispute codes. Even worse, of these 26 dispute codes, 85% of disputes will fall under the same 5 codes. For example, according to testimony from congressional hearings, credit bureaus use the following codes in these percentages with the eOscar system. 31% of disputes, not mine. 21% of disputes, account status. 17% of disputes, inaccurate information. 9% of disputes, account amounts. 7% of disputes, account closed. Again, 85% of disputes fall under the same 5 codes. Once your dispute is converted to one of the standardized dispute codes within the eOscar system, the code is sent to the data furnisher, also known as the original creditor or collection agency, etc., using a standardized form known as an Automated Consumer Dispute Verification Form, or ACDV for short. This request is sent to the data furnisher via the eOscar system. An ACDV merely consists of a few items of identifying information about the consumer, the dispute code, and in some cases additional notes. Any supporting documentation like account applications, canceled checks, billing statements, or payoff letters or confirmations, etc., are not included in these electronic communications between data furnishers and the eOscar system. Your dispute is essentially converted into nothing but a dispute code. In fact, there is no mechanism in place for the credit bureaus to send your supporting documents and proof of your claim to the data furnishers. So, what happens when a furnisher receives an automated consumer dispute verification form from the eOscar system? Do they begin an in-depth investigation? If the furnisher is a collection agency, do they contact the original creditor for real documentation on the account? Hardly. Remember, the data furnisher will never even receive nor see all the documentation in your dispute, even if you sent 60 pages of proof. In fact, there's a new piece of technology to even further automate the eOscar system for data furnishers, and it's called batch interface. Data furnishers like large banks and collection agencies can receive thousands of disputes a month. Dealing with all these disputes manually via the eOscar system quickly becomes a lot of work. eOscar's solution to the problem is to send the data furnisher all these disputes in one large file all at one time. This is what the batch interface function was created for. Now, when the data furnisher receives this large file, there are several options for processing the data. One such option is something called Reply All. Reply All allows the data furnisher to select a response like account verified, and apply this response to dozens or even hundreds of records in the file with a single push of a button. But if this doesn't have you fuming enough, then maybe another feature will, and that feature is one called auto-populate. The auto-populate function allows the data furnisher to auto-populate responses of automated consumer dispute requests before submitting them back to the credit bureau via the eOscar system. Of course, we all know the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA, states that all data furnishers must perform a reasonable investigation. Then again, maybe it all depends on what one calls a reasonable investigation and how reasonable it can be when automated. So if you're ready to learn the truth about the fastest way to improve your credit score so you can get the cash you need for business and buy the home you not only love but would love to live in, then check out the Credit Repair Intelligence System by visiting our website at creditrepairpublishing.com. Till next time, thanks for listening.
The Credit Repair Intelligence Report comes to you each week from creditrepairpublishing.com. Get your free subscription by visiting creditrepairpublishing.com.